You see behind me Mishawaka Police, but also St. Joseph County Police, South Bend Police, and of course leading this investigation. You see the bus there, St. Joseph County Metro Homicide. They are all a part of this ongoing investigation until what we've just learned is indeed a fatal shooting. That major announcement coming just a short time ago after that 2-week pause in in-person classes. Starting next week, Wednesday, there will be a return to in-person classes, but this will happen in stages. You are absolutely right. They do want the community's input on this 8-page revision of their current use of force policy. This shooting has rattled this community's core. A 7-year-old killed while at a birthday party in broad daylight. Her parents reluctantly recalling the moments they found out someone shot their baby. 4 years ago in 2016, they provided 24 new homes to single families in need. And it's actually in a similar situation now. 2020, we're talking about, they are looking to do it again on places, empty lots like the ones I'm standing near on the city's near west side. And tonight we're learning 87 students are facing disciplinary actions for violating some of those orders that were put in place by the university. This is a parking lot of UP Mall. And on Saturday night, you can tell that it is not normal because there are more police cars out here than there are actual customer vehicles. It was quite the story to actually arrive to earlier today. We saw families, we saw potential people who knew the victim, we saw people screaming in some cases in agony, only indicative that they possibly knew that victim. We can tell you at this hour that a lot of people were in that mall and witnessed this Saturday afternoon what took place there.
We were just working as normal, you know, happy, like socializing with customers and everything like that. And then we heard 3 or 4 gunshots. And at first, I didn't even know it was a gunshot. That's not something you hear every day. I was so taken surprised, but everyone started screaming and everyone just ducked because it was our side of the mall, like by Victoria's Secret and Champion, which is like 3 stores down from us.
This is the first time I've been to this mall, and I've never been through anything like this before. I called my brother, which is a police officer in Warsaw, and he just said to lay down and, you know, just stay right where we are, and that the police would take care of us. I just feel kind of numb and just kind of scared.
Just imagine how the kids feel. There was tons of children in the mall, I mean, a Saturday, and just imagine like one of those kids could have been shot. I mean, it just is absolutely heartbreaking all around.
And obviously, this is a rapidly developing story. As the night continues and as the story continues to progress, we will keep you updated both on air and online. Reporting from Mishawaka tonight, Joshua Short, 16 News Now. Lauren and Terry, good evening to you. Yes, students will return to in-person classes for the first time in 2 weeks next Wednesday, but hold your horses. The school's president, Father John Jenkins, saying this will all happen gradually.
Together, we are writing one of the great comebacks in Notre Dame history.
This comeback involves students coming back to class in person. Father Jenkins says there's been some improvements after shutting things down last week due to the rise in COVID-19 cases.
Since my announcement, the daily number of new cases has gone down substantially. The positivity rate, that is the ratio of positive tests to the total number of tests, is still high at 10.8%, but it is declining, and from August 20th to 25th was 6.3%.
Tonight, as the University of Notre Dame prepares to unpause, the plan to put students back in the classroom in stages is becoming clearer. 16 News Now has learned certain courses will begin starting next week. Examples of those classes are labs, studio work, and music, which are easier when attended in person. Deans and department chairs will determine the rollout of other courses over time. The president also asking students to commit to the following: wearing masks, physical distancing, and washing their hands, completing daily health checks, reporting for mandatory surveillance testing, and not hosting or even attending social gatherings exceeding 10 people.
We must do these things if we are to have a safe and successful semester on campus.
And tonight we're learning 87 students are facing disciplinary actions for violating some of those orders that were put in place by the university. Reporting from the University of Notre Dame, Joshua Short, 16 News Now. This shooting has rattled this community's core. A 7-year-old killed while at a birthday party in broad daylight. Her parents reluctantly recalling the moments they found out someone shot their baby.
I received a phone call that it was a drive-by shooting in the area and that my daughter got shot. All happened in less than 10 minutes.
I was at home. I had no idea.
The pain palpable for the parents of Chrisia Stevens.
You took away a beautiful girl, an innocent girl, a girl that's full of life, joy. You took that away from us.
They shattered my whole heart. My only child. The worst days of my life.
Most unbelievable.
Another unbelievable moment for him, Wednesday's March and Vigil, ending near the intersection where his daughter's life ended.
I just couldn't believe. That rally was about our daughter. I just can't believe it. The balloons going in the air was about our daughter. To know her was to love her.
To know my baby was to love her. She didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that. That was so brutal. She's only 7.
And another troublesome truth tonight. Her killer remains at large.
A person with no remorse for kids' lives. I don't know why.
And this piercing message tonight.
People definitely should come forward.
If you know anything, I would definitely say something. That was a 7-year-old child, not a target.
Not a target. And until this guy is caught, South Bend is not safe. It's not safe for no one's kid.
Police are also urging the public to come forward, and they're hoping this painful conversation also leads to someone watching tonight who may know something to do the right thing. By the way, funeral arrangements, they are still pending tonight. There's also a GoFundMe set up for the family's burial costs. We'll have all that information on our website after the show. Back to you all. Good evening, Lauren and Terry. You are absolutely right. They do want the community's input on this 8-page revision of their current use of force policy. The mayor, the chief of police, they were at this newsroom. We actually want to show you video. It just wrapped up moments ago. One of the things that I want to mention, this conference actually comes less than 2 months after a consulting firm found the department should clarify its use of force policy, which they say blurs the lines of objective versus subjective. The report also focused on bias-free policing, body-worn cameras, accountability, community engagement, so forth and so on. Listen now to what the mayor actually had to say about why he had so many hands on this 8-page document and why he wanted to make a change.
You know, the police officers, they're doing their job. They get it. They understand. They know the standard. They know the law. They know what they're supposed to do. The residents look at it and say, well, what does this mean? And so there has to be that bridge, and elected officials, the mayor and our common council members are the ones to do it.
Now, we are just getting the website where a lot of the community members watching right now at home can actually have input on this new revised use of force policy. That website is southbendin.gov/use of force. Everything will be on there. In fact, next week there will be a community meeting where you can actually have some input. Coming up at 6 o'clock, a story we're actively working on for you. I actually speak with the brother of Eric Logan, Tyree Bonds. You all know that name. We've talked to him several times. We talked to him today about the use of force policy and what he's seen in changes in terms of whether or not there have been changes in the department over the last year. We'll have that part of our story and the numbers that we're just learning about use of force complaints against the department coming up at 6 as we send it back to you. If you're waking up, by the way, you may have left the zone overnight because of the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Stanley Cup champions, things like that. If you're waking up for the first time with us, good morning to you and happy Tuesday, everybody. Kentucky's Attorney General says he will comply with the judge's ruling and release the audio transcript of the grand jury recording in the Breonna Taylor case. But Daniel Cameron still says releasing the transcript could compromise the ongoing federal investigation. An anonymous grand juror filing a motion overnight requesting all recordings and transcripts of the grand jury be released to the public. Cameron says he is confident in the case he presented, which only recommended a wanton endangerment charge. Now, saying in Kentucky, one of the former police officers involved in that shooting is pleading not guilty. We're talking about Brett Hakinson. Officials charged him last week with 3 counts of wanton endangerment for blindly firing into neighboring apartments. Again, he pleaded not guilty to those 3 counts Monday during his virtual arraignment. Officials fired Hakinson back in June. A big night ahead. President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden will meet for the very first time for the very first presidential debate tonight, that is. The format calls for 6 15-minute time segments dedicated to topics announced in advance. The debate will take place in Cleveland, Ohio, and will be moderated by Fox News anchor Chris Wallace. The topics selected by Wallace himself include the candidates' records, the Supreme Court, COVID-19, the economy, race and violence in our cities, and the integrity of the election. And of course, you can watch the debate right here on Channel 16. Everything kicks off tonight at 9 p.m. The latest details on the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame did not play this past weekend because 23 players were listed unavailable due to COVID-19. But now that number has gone up. There are now 39 Notre Dame football players out because of the virus. This comes after officials administered 273 tests from the team from Tuesday of last week until this past Sunday. And there were 18 positive tests. Now, 7 of those 18 positive tests were players already in quarantine. The Notre Dame football team has a total of 25 players in isolation. An additional 14 are currently in quarantine. How do you take your cup of joe?
Take a look at the options on your screen.
Yes, hot is an automatic. You can vote right down our poll, WNDU.com.